Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
What is up, everyone? It is Chris from the Commander Crew. With Commander Legends upon us, we were given two great pre-constructed Commander decks. The two decks from Commanders include Wyleth, Soul of Steel, a Boros, Aura and Equipment Commander, and AC, Tyrant of Gyre Strait, a Simic Landfall Commander. Commander Legends set has now been fully announced, and we at the Commander Crew are already beyond excited for these new Commander Precon decks. We are already in the process of upgrading them to our own playstyle. From previous videos, you will see that I am more a budget-oriented player. With this upgrade video, we're going to go 20 for 20. We'll be swapping out 20 cards for under $20. I strongly believe that $20 is the perfect budget for upgrading these decks. Normally a Commander deck will cost you about $40, but with these new decks, they're selling for about $20. So with the upgraded package, we have the perfect synergy. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Wyleth Soul of Steel and upgrading it to play to my style. He is a 2/2 human warrior for 1 red/white. Wyleth has trample, and whenever it attacks, you may draw a card for each aura and equipment attached to it. This is draw in Boros on Voltron. My dreams have finally become true. Plus they gave Wyleth trample. It's the icing on the cake. It's perfection. In the past, I've made many Voltron decks, but I've been drawn away from them as draws has always been an issue. It's been quite a difficulty to make Boros an actual strong playstyle, and it's been a struggle to keep the advantage in the game in the late game. With a Commander deck, I have a general rule of thumb for building my decks. This would be basically the reference point I've learned over the years to help build my decks. First off, we want to seek a mana base of about 50, which includes lands and ramp. We want to have about 10 forms of card draw, 6 forms of targeted removal, 3 board wipes, more if you are like light on creatures and less if you're creature heavy, 2 forms of recursion, as losing your key pieces to the graveyard can happen pretty much every single game, 2 tutors, and the more tutors you have, basically, the more powerful a deck will become. 1 graveyard hate, as graveyards have basically become a resource in the overall strategy, and about 30 forms of synergy that pertains to your overall build. A precon will always do its best to have the deck be as designed as well as possible, being simple enough for new players and strong enough for experienced players to want to purchase. This deck has 40 lands and 2 mana rocks. I found that there are too many lands in the deck, but I find that it's well to ensure that each player who plays the deck has a land drop every single turn. There are 3 card draw effects, but the commander is expected to draw a lot of substantial amounts of cards, so I can understand that. There are 10 targeted removals, which is often expected in Boros decks, 3 board wipes, 2 forms of recursion, a single tutor in the form of Relic Seeker, which is way too situational, and 0 graveyard hate. In this deck, I found out to be only 19 forms of synergy in the way of auras and equipments, which is a decent start to boot. First things first, let's remove the 20 cards I find that need to be removed. I would start off by removing 3 lands to reduce the land count to include much stronger valued cards. The artifacts I think don't fit in this deck are the 2 rings. They offer a decent value, but it just takes a while for them to actually get overall. The other equipment would be the new card including Blazing Sunsteel. I find that this card is way too reliant on Wyleth being blocked and taking damage, where I'd much rather have him swing in unblocked and get the damage in to get the win. Here are the remaining cards we would remove. In this updated deck, we're going to put out more equipment and auras to ensure we can get the most draw out of Wyleth. Overall, we have removed most of the spells from the deck and a few creatures as they are way too focused on their own strategy rather than their overall build of the deck. Now let's get into what we think we want to add to the deck. A similar Boros Voltron build was Akiri Fearless Voyager, being both a major go-to in Boros Voltron and is absolutely a perfect slot into this deck. Being able to unattach an equipment at instant speed to grant indestructibility is an absolute must. The next creature that is granting incredible value comes with a new card, Rayav, a Mastersmith. We are expected to equip our commander immediately, and by giving the additional value of Double Strike, it will speed the game up immensely. Do not underestimate this dwarf. More creature value would include Auramancer for efficient graveyard recursion. Heliad's Pilgrim for effective tutoring on a body, Knight of the White Orchid for potential mana acceleration, and Pure Steel Paladin for a chance to equip every artifact for 0 mana. These additional creatures will up the overall synergy of this deck. To ensure our commander can get through, we want to add additional protection to it. This comes from choosing the proper auras and equipment to have the best return on investment. Many times with Boros, especially Voltron, you're playing out on an all-in strategy. With this deck, that's no exception. If you do not want to have the proper protection on all your resources, they can basically go to waste. 2 incredible cards that I want to add to this deck would be Flicker Form, which will flicker both the commander and all the auras attached to it if Wyleth is targeted, and Karametra's Blessing, which has the convenience of a buff, but also hexproof and indestructible when enchanted. These 2 cards can come in absolute clutch, so be sure to have these readily available when you begin to equip and enchant Wyleth. Even with the amount of potential draw, in order to find all these auras and equipments on demand, we want to make sure we find an effective budget option, as many tutors are quite too expensive. With Open the Armory, we are able to search for an aura or equipment and place it into our hand. This is extremely versatile and helpful when you need to find that specific card. But what other aura and equipment do we need to plan to add to this deck? The remaining cards I will be adding will be focused on those. With Wyleth, you want to ensure you have enough draw triggers when it attacks. The first 2 auras I think I would want to add to a Voltron would simply be All That Glitters, which will buff the creature for both enchantments and equipment on the battlefield, and Sage's Reverie, which will trigger a draw for each aura attached to the creature. This alone can draw you a lot of cards. 3 impressive auras for protection come from Hyena Umbra to give First Strike and Totem Armor, Shield of Duty and Reason for protection from green and blue, and Mask of Law and Grace for protection from red and black. These 3 auras combined will basically make Wyleth nearly protection from everything. Each of these also costs only a single white mana, so they are extremely cost effective for the value received. Now to finish off this list, we want to equip the build with some strong equipment. The purpose of these equipment would to have a low converted mana cost and a high return to have some great synergy. To start off, we have Shuko, which may seem lackluster, but with a 0 equip cost, it can lead to have a consistent draw for only the casting cost. Colossus Hammer for both the low mana cost to cast and the massive power boost once equipped. And Vorak Battlehorns, which prevents our opponents from blocking Wyleth with more than 1 creature, which in turn will have a much bigger impact to our opponent's life total. To go in line with the drawing, we have Mask of Memory, which will draw 2 additional cards when Wyleth deals combat damage, and Imperial Plate, which gives +1/+1 for each card on our hand. The best part of this is that the draw will happen when Wyleth declares attack, so with the Imperial Plate attached, its power and toughness can grow immensely. These 2 together can grow Wyleth to a single shot threat. To round out this list, we have my favorite addition that should be the first card you consider when thinking of Voltron or equipment. That card is Hammer and Design. This card has dropped recently with the additional reprint and has become more easily accessible. When Hammer and Design enters the battlefield, it will automatically attach to Wyleth, and when any additional equipment enters the battlefield, they too will attach at no cost. This can create so much value. The Hammer even grants indestructibility. Like, that's insane. This is an equipment you will want to get on Wyleth as soon as you can. And that's my deck. Pretty straightforward. That is my 20 cards or $20 upgrade. With these additions, we will push Wyleth to a massive victory over our opponents. Boros and Voltron have become much more viable playstyle with this new set, and I'm extremely excited to play with this new commander. This can just be the start too. There are so many aura and equipments that will bring Wyleth to a whole new level. This is just a budget build. You can go as high as you want and be as powerful as you want. How would you build Wyleth? Would you put more focus on the auras or more focus on the equipments? What do you think of the new Boros Voltron commander? What do you think about Commander Legends giving Boros more options? Do you think Red and White are finally getting the help they deserve in this format? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for future videos. Commander Legends has just finished being announced, and I can definitely say this is going to be a legendary edition. My name is Chris from the Commander Crew, and again, thanks for watching. Peace.